Hello and welcome to the AHP Profits webinar, January 16th, 2014. Good evening, good night, good morning, whatever time it is for you in your part of the world. Thank you so much for being on this call. After this presentation, I'm going to be opening up to allow you to ask any questions that you want. And I want to make sure that any questions that are asked can be addressed. So please hold on to your questions, make sure that you're thinking of them throughout the presentation, and then ask them so that when I'm done, they'll be there for you. There's just been a number of different things that have released within the last couple of months that I think that a number of members aren't fully aware of, and so I want to point those out to you. One is that you can surf more than your 25 pages in a day to actually earn more website visitor credits through the traffic exchange portion. And another great thing about that is you can actually convert your credits to pay-per-click banner advertising credits. So you can actually earn, you can serve to earn banner advertising on AHP Profits. That's one of the great things that are going on right now with AHP Profits. And then with the VIP membership, you can upgrade that for just $10 a month, and you'll only have to serve 10 ads a day. And then your ratio is 1-to-1 ratio. So one website is one credit. And so there's some really great things that people have been requesting in the forum. And so keep in mind, if you've got an idea, go to the feature request section of the forum, because I really do review those requests and help build those things in. One of the things that I really wanted to start out tonight's webinar with is asking you if you've ever seen this website before. I know for me, I hadn't seen it before just a few months ago. And when it popped up, I was like, wow, this is a pretty nice site. You know, I was really, blown away with how big it's gotten so fast. So I did a little bit of research into this website and found that they've actually been online for a few years. Here's their traffic ranking, dated back to 2012, just a little bit before that. And as I did a little bit more research into this company, I found that actually on Facebook that they had a group set up, or a Facebook page set up, and I scrolled all the way down to the very, very bottom. And it actually started March 29th of 2010. What inspires me about this is that this site has largely been unseen and unnoticed throughout the industry for over 3 years, and just barely is starting to catch on to the industry. As you can see, it just barely started to catch on in 2013 and then really shot up now in 2014. And so I know that there's been a number of members who got in AHP Profits at the beginning and didn't really see the real value of AHP Profits, just like many people didn't even know the value of this particular website, but it's really shooting up. A lot more people are starting to use it. A lot more people are getting involved with this particular website as well as any other website. And I've given these types of examples before, but since this just barely shot up and people started to recognize it more after years and years of being online, I wanted to kind of just point that out, that a lot of internet businesses do take a few years to actually be recognized, just like what it took Facebook 3 years before they became recognized for what they're able to do for you. So I know that with AHP Profits, we're a work in progress, and the more that we get out there, the better everything will work long-term, well into the future. But just keep in mind the long-term scope of things. Imagine if they would have given up their first year or their second year or their third year. They just kept plugging along, and now they're one of the top-rated sites in the industry. So I look at that and say, you know what, AHP Profits already has been a top-rated site in the industry, and we continue to be one of the top 10 best buys ranked on AdHits, and I'll be getting to that in a minute. But there's some real great things that are going on with AHP Profits. Now tonight there are two terms that I want to expand upon. One of those terms is sustainability, and the other is job security. So first, sustainability. What sustainable means is something that a lot of people have misunderstood. I've tried to explain this throughout AHP Profits life, and this term is so misunderstood by a lot of people. I feel that it's important to clarify that. Sustainable means that the payment plan of a program is set up so that your earnings are really backed up by real cash in the processors. This way, you never have to worry about payment delays, whether you're actually going to get paid from ad hit profits, because ad hit profits is completely sustainable. And that's one of the things that members throughout various different groups and forums back in June before that were declaring, is how fundamental that aspect of the business is, that nothing happens unless there's a sale. And when there's a sale, it's then dispersed and shared with everybody. And so people were quite aware of that's how the system works, and it still works like that even today. Once when there's money that is coming into the system for a purchase of a service, then it's shared and dispersed with everyone. We're not awarding earnings without there being real cash on hand, and that's the great thing about ad hit profits. It's completely sustainable. You'll never have to worry about whether you're going to get paid or not. Now this kind of coincides with something called job security, especially when it comes to an internet marketer's job security. Now, to retain a steady flow of sales, the professional internet marketer must continually maintain a steady advertising routine. I think that each of us can really recognize that. I think that there's a number of people who get involved with an opportunity early on and see that there's a decent amount of money that's being earned early on in the opportunity, but then what they've done is they actually stop advertising and then they watch their income drop. The reason why the income drop shouldn't really surprise people. If you're going to stop advertising, you're going to start to see a drop in your income. And that's what I noticed a lot with our internet marketers. A lot of the leaders, they kind of stopped, they slowed down their marketing approaches with ad hit profits, and they moved into other things, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, the reasons that incomes drop simply because of the lack of effort, lack of work being put into it. So I know that anyone who joins any income opportunity or is an affiliate of any service within this industry will only be able to earn the kind of income that they seek through advertising and continued maintaining that high level of advertising effort. I think that sometimes once when people earn a certain amount, they say, okay, now I can take a break. I'm going to let my referrals do a little bit of the hard work. But sometimes what they've told their referrals is that they don't have to do anything. So they kind of now are saying, okay, shoot, now my income is really slowing down because I've already told everyone that they don't have to do anything, and nobody is doing anything. Now, one of the important things I feel that we need to point out is what the sales process is. First is to establish a relationship, and the next is need recognition. You know, that's one of the things that I feel like is one of the great things about ad hit profits, is since we sell high quality advertising services and this whole industry needs advertising services to maintain a steady income, this adds an additional layer of longevity to ad hit profits, because among the longest standing websites online today are advertising websites. So it shouldn't be too hard to help people see a need for our services, because within a marketing industry, marketing is a key word there. So that is all about advertising and generating leads, getting website visitors, things like that. This is why I have worked so hard to keep ad hit profits, ad services consistently of high quality. Then, of course, after helping people recognize the need, then it's to formulate the solution. So people definitely recognize within this industry that they need to get more traffic to their website, they need to get more leads for their business, more signups, and more sales if they want to make money. And so helping people recognize that ad hit profits is the solution, or at least one of the solutions for them to use to generate traffic to their website, that helps you then close the sale and invite them to take action, and then we can deliver that service that they're making a purchase for on ad hit profits. Because everybody needs quality services to gain quality leads to generate sales for their business. Now, as a marketer, I was once a beginner. I advertised on various different sites and struggled to get any signups at all and make any money. Something I learned well, it took me a little bit of a process to learn this because I was a little bit stubborn, but something I had to learn is that the advertising websites that I used weren't at fault for my non-existent sales, because they sent real visitors to my website. It was my website that simply wasn't appealing to the visitors. Either my service that I was offering wasn't what they wanted, or how I presented it wasn't effective. Or maybe how well I positioned myself as a leader or one having knowledge that I was offering wasn't effective. I mean, you think about how many people are out there promoting just the company replicated website. If that's what you're doing and you're not seeing a lot of sales or signups or anything like that, that's the reason why. Once when you create your own brand and once when you create some value of why people want to get involved with you, then that is going to help increase your sales, your signups, all of your exposure. But when they came to my website, they didn't see who I was because it was just the company replicated website. So they didn't want to sign up and they didn't want to buy anything. I had to make a change. I had to humble myself and recognized what I needed to change was my own self and my own website so that it could appeal more to the people within this industry, to appeal to the buyers. I basically had to give them what they wanted. And truthfully, it took me about 2 years to finally learn personal branding. And sure, I read about it. I listened to leaders tell me about it. I didn't think I could do it, and I didn't. But when I was finally ready to start earning online, that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to position myself because I want to succeed more than anything. I'm going to do this. I was in a situation where I absolutely had to do it. I mean, I know that there's a number of people that come online to earn income, and sometimes they just start off as kind of a hobby. But for me, I needed to do this. So I started to do the things I was told to do. And I gave myself no excuses. Anytime that I thought, oh, I can't do that, I'm like, well, you know what? Go to Google, figure it out, learn how. And I built a list. I promoted a branded website. And I really did struggle through the whole learning process. I mean, it wasn't easy. I didn't have a sponsor telling me how. I didn't have a sponsor with a glossary of all of the internet terms and all of the industry terms. I had to learn all of this through the School of Hard Knocks. I had to struggle through this. And after a couple of years of all of this struggling, I started to make a full-time income online in December of 2010. So in researching the industry, I found that everyone wants more traffic. And I found myself in those 2 years opening up more emails that were offering me more targeted visitors than a lot of other emails subject lines. I mean, that's just almost common sense within this industry. The people who are successful are the ones who are driving the most amount of traffic to their websites. So knowing that everyone within this industry wants more traffic, leads, signups, and cash for their business, that's kind of the whole idea behind AHP Profits, is to sell advertising solutions for you to get more website traffic at affordable prices and help you get the leads and the signups that you need, and also offer you a way to leverage our whole system to place more cash into your business or even more cash into your pocket. Now, the perceived problem with our services is not a problem with our services at all, but in shared earnings. And I just want to show you on AdHits, what it's showing here is that AdHit Profits is maintaining one of the top 10 in the industry. That's phenomenal. For us to maintain a top 10 position on this website for over 9 months is phenomenal. And to see how many unique visitors we have to our website, 156,000 just within the last 24 hours, that's fantastic. And so you can see right away as a marketer where the value really comes in to placing an ad on AdHit Profits with that many visitors coming in. So the problem that people are perceiving with our services aren't with our services at all, but with the shared earnings. It's important to differentiate the two because the services are very good. The shared income is dropped. And the problem with the shared income is actually twofold. One, people were buying the ad services. They weren't even buying them to drive traffic to their websites. They purchased a whole lot of advertising credits, and they weren't even using them at all. So they weren't out there talking about the great services that we're offering. They were just talking about the earnings from purchasing revenue shares or the services that have the revenue shares associated with them. And the second aspect is that people promoting our ad services stopped promoting them when the next new program came out. Instead of seeing ad hit profits as the method to build that next new program, they jumped out of ad hit profits. So again, not really using our services for what they can do. And I believe that if people were using their purchases and experiencing the results other marketers have experienced, then we would have never experienced a drop in the sales at all, because people wouldn't have stopped buying the services and using them to build up their list and build up traffic to their website. And when new programs came out, they'd want to be among the first to actually place their banners and treasure chest ads on ad hit profits to start building early and quickly earning more within that new income opportunity using ad hit profit services. But instead, they did not recognize ad hit profits as the resource that it is. Early on, though, leaders told everyone what a real business ad hit profits is, what real services with a real owner that you can see and know and who's honest, full of integrity, and with a business plan that will be online for years to come. They told many people this simply to get people to buy a lot of services so that they could cash in on the fast commissions. I don't think that these leaders really believe their own words, because they stopped using our services when they jumped into something new. When leaders who once built ad hit profits very strong stopped working and moved on to other things which are no longer online, which is ironically enough, the reason many people bought the services started to drop. And the reason people were buying the services were only for the sharing of revenues. Some have felt cheated when the revenues dropped before they were in profit. I have attempted time after time to tell our membership that the reason in the dropping of revenue simply was because the group of leaders who jumped from new program to new program to new program simply jumped to the next program. I have attempted to help all who have remained to rise up into this same leadership position as those who have left, so that they could build like the leaders did. This would have increased your income beyond what it was to begin with, because there were more, and there still are, more members involved with ad hit profits than we ever had leaders. So if the average member kind of rose up and kind of stepped up, then it would have increased the shared income substantially more than what it has ever been before. But instead, many members decided to follow the same leader who jumps from new program to new program to the next thing, and those same leaders who set them up basically to fail program after program, they were benefiting from more commissions from the same people. So while I attempt to share winning strategies, help our members, you, earn more and offer tools, resources, and services that can help you, I've had to manage the attacks on ad hit profits on multiple fronts, not just in the forums, Facebook, and other things, but server attacks. As you know, in July we had someone hack Solid Trust Pay and send us a lot of funds that were fraudulent, and they all had to get reversed. Ad hit profits had never been hacked. But why are such strong attacks being made against me, my support staff, against ad hit profits as a whole, against our servers, especially when the services truly are so good? I believe it's because people were told by these sponsors who jump from program to program to spend a lot of money so that the sponsors could collect large commissions. Then, once those revenue shares maxed before yours, so the sponsors, their revenue shares maxed out, they were ready to jump to the next thing. But the average member wasn't really ready for that yet. That's when some members became pretty angry. They made accusations that I was not sharing the revenues correctly. Revenues simply dropped, which dropped your shared amount per day, but it didn't drop your maximum potential. Website glitches are actually very easy to fix, and those who have been with us since the very beginning, you know that we've had a number of different glitches that within hours they've been fixed. And I know that many of the leaders early on were like, wow, this is the best system and best program and best owner I've ever experienced, because whenever there's this little glitch, I'll send in a support ticket and boom, it's fixed within hours instead of within weeks like some of the other programs that they've been involved with. And some of those other programs that they've been involved with never get their glitches fixed, and then they're offline before you know it. So that's where I look at it with website glitches. They're easy to fix, but psychological problems like fear, uncertainty, and doubt are much more difficult to fix. Helping people recognize the true value of their purchases, much more difficult to fix. Mark Twain said, "It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled." I found that this was very true in July. I saw a flurry of false information spreading about ad hit profits all around the internet. People were fooled. I couldn't convince them otherwise. People were spreading all kinds of false rumors and telling people, open up disputes and make sure to, report them here and there and everywhere. That ad hit profits wasn't going to be online much longer than July, that by August we were not going to be online, all kinds of false rumors. But no matter how many times I try to tell people that ad hit profits wasn't going anywhere, people were fooled and I couldn't convince them, and some truly did believe that ad hit profits would go offline before July ended. And those beliefs were so strong that leaders who made those same predictions orchestrated strong attacks against ad hit profits, very strong ones. And like I said before, they were hacking our site directly, or attempting to, but that wasn't working. So they actually hacked Solid Trust Pay and bombed our revenue sharing system with over $60 million. Again, no one hacked our system at all. They hacked Solid Trust Pay's currency exchange system and created massive purchases with funds that didn't actually exist. Now, although this was a major blow to our site revenue system, and that a lot of revenue shares received an amount of sharing that didn't actually exist, we had the site back up and running after that attack within 5 days. That's amazing. I don't know if you've been in any other kind of program like this before, that if there's a glitch or a problem there offline, it can take weeks or months to resolve something like this. Within 5 days, within the same business week, it was down Monday, it was back up by Friday. And I just felt like that was the biggest win for us to kind of stand up and say, we're at hit profits, we're not going anywhere, and this attack happened, yes, but we're going to keep moving forward, keep getting back up and moving more forward. Now this made the attackers even more upset, so they orchestrated disputes through processors and complaints to regulators. And the great thing about ad hit profits is we're fully compliant, so the complaints were heard, resolved, and we're online, no problems. The regulators recognize that we're not breaking any laws, which is great, which hopefully can help give great peace of mind to each one of you who is involved with ad hit profits, that we really aren't going anywhere. The services that you purchase are really good, and that you don't have to worry about whether your service that you purchased isn't going to ever happen. I know that there's a number of people that get involved with other websites and they purchase some service, and before their service is even delivered, the website's gone, along with their earnings and along with their balances and along with all kinds of things that they've really hoped within that program. But with ad hit profits, there's a lot more peace of mind here. Now, just as I've said, we are going to be online for years and years to come, and the services that we offer will remain of high quality. These services are here for you to use to get website traffic, more leads, more signups, and make more money in your primary opportunities. Earnings from ad hit profits are exactly as outlined in our earnings disclaimer. And if you've never read it, I invite you to do so. What it says, and just to let you know that this earnings disclaimer has remained the exact same since launch, except for the inclusion of VIP members. And what it says is, ad hit profit shares revenue from sales of multiple services, including banner advertising, email advertising, and various account conveniences. By clicking 25 or 10 ads for VIP members per day, you qualify to receive a share in any profits up to $56.25 each share, with a minimum of 1 active revenue share. Your revenue share is a purchase of service, which in of itself is of high value. Your earnings come from your own efforts of selling ad services to others, using your referral link, and sharing in site revenues. What your individual earnings are may vary, based upon your skill, drive, motivation, talent, and persistence. Rate of earnings may vary from day to day, as amounts are given to each share are related to how many shares are active and how much advertising services have been sold. So that's kind of the thing that I kind of wanted to focus on right there, is that little last part there. Is there's been a number of people that have been talking about small amount that they're receiving in shared income, and that's been going on for quite some time. These maybe complaints or people who just don't understand that we don't share revenues that aren't there. We can only share what's there, and that's what keeps us legal. And so the real way to really put this into perspective is if you were to share revenues from every single Pepsi bottle sale. If somebody buys Pepsi, you got a portion of that sale. You'd probably be out there talking to more people about how good Pepsi is. You'd probably create some YouTube videos talking about the great, refreshing beverage that Pepsi is, and talk about its taste and flavor, and talk about how refreshing it is on a hot summer day to gulp down some ice cold Pepsi to kind of cool you down after working outside or maybe riding bikes or playing basketball, things like that. If you can help people recognize the value of buying Pepsi, then you are, of course, going to increase the amount of money that you earn. The funny thing, almost sad, is that the same people who wanted to receive more earnings through the revenue sharing of our services were out in the forums and the groups telling people not to buy our services. So it kind of is counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense that if people are going to be sharing in the revenues of our services, I highly recommend that you are out there saying nice things about our services, nice things and great things about our, staff and the services, myself and other members. I mean, people out there slamming and degrading and berating everything, it just goes against what their real goal is. They want to earn more. And so if that's you, hopefully you can see the error of your ways, and you can be out there now and start to share more of a positive influence about AHP profits and help people recognize more of what AHP profits is. Because AHP profits does share revenues from multiple sales of services. Now, one of the things that people have said is, you've changed your whole policies, and there's not really been any real changes to policy, but there have been a few changes that were actually made by members, member requests, like the 25 ads clicks. There's been a number of people who have said that they're not very happy with that, but clicking 25 ads instead of 10 was requested by members because they wanted to use their ad credits faster, especially with people that came in and bought hundreds of thousands of these credits, and they're seeing like 2 or 3 of these credits being used a day. They're thinking, I'm never going to get the kind of visitors that I purchase. I want to see this happen faster. So I increased to the 25 ads a day instead of 10, and also have now made it so that people can surf even more to earn more credits at a 2-to-1 surf ratio. So that means you surf 2 sites to receive 1 additional credit. And again, you can convert your credits over to pay-per-click banner advertising, which is a great benefit and value to you. Just more ways to help you deliver the services that you purchased. And again, like I said, some members complained about clicking a few more ads in a day rather than seeing the real reason for the change. And even though I've tried to explain reasons for changes, like removing Liberty Reserve or removing PESA, there are times where I look back and say, wow, I'm lucky. All of us are lucky that I made those changes when I did, because otherwise member earnings contained within those processors wouldn't be available for you to withdraw. We would have no longer been sustained by the revenues. So changes are truly made for the reason to provide you with additional benefits and income potential. And through time, I believe more people will recognize what AHP Profits is and what we have to offer. Just like what I said at the beginning of the call, this site has been online for over 3 years. This is their 4th year being online. And it did take time for people to recognize it within the industry. But when people got involved, when the right people saw the real value and the benefits, it shot up like no tomorrow. So I believe that right now, since we are so young here at AHP Profits, you can take advantage of knowing what we have now by getting out there, inviting the industry to begin using our services. You will earn a lot more in commissions, and the shared income that you'll receive will increase a lot as well. And this can only really happen when you choose to work for it. There's no such thing as a get-rich-quick program. All programs that offer some kind of passive income, they all disappear. I think we all know that who are on this call. The passive income programs, they're online for a month or two, and then they're gone. Even though AHP Profits does offer share in revenue without referring, it does not guarantee a large amount of earnings daily. But it does mean that you can receive a portion of whatever we receive if you are clicking your ads. And the amount that you receive could be low because no one's going to be doing anything except for maybe a few, and the amount that you receive from the efforts of a few will be spread among a lot of people. So those few people are going to be the ones earning all of the high commissions, and then everyone else is going to be just receiving just a very small amount. So what I really would recommend is to follow the same kind of strategy that people have with other long-lasting advertising sites that offer income. And those who get involved with pay-to-click websites or traffic exchanges and really build up a downline or referral base, you start to see a lot larger income when you have referrals, because each referral multiplies your earnings substantially, especially if you start having hundreds of referrals or even thousands. You start to notice a real significant change in your income. Those who refer a lot are going to earn a lot. So one of the things that I just wanted to focus on a little bit as well is our YouTube channel. Check these videos out. The true formula for earnings online. This is something that I put a lot of thought into. I wanted to make sure that people really recognize what's really there, what's available not only to AHP Profits, but help you recognize the strategies that if you really want to make more online, that this is the kind of strategy that you'll really want to use. And it's not something that you have to apply to AHP Profits only, but whatever it is that you get involved with online, it's really meant to help you learn more effective strategies that I've been able to learn. And lastly, I do want to just point out real quickly is if you go all the way to the very beginning and see our very first videos, like when I introduced myself and the opportunity at the very beginning, you'll recognize that AHP Profits actually is working exactly the same way as it was at launch, except for just a few additional services added to help boost people's commission potential. That's all that I wanted to share tonight. What I want to do now is open up and find out what questions are on the call tonight. Welcome Jane Clark to the call. Let's see. Someone's saying, Charles, yes, this website is a big competitor for AHP Profits, and again, new one called My Advertising Pays is new. What do you think of this one? Well, when it comes to any competition, I don't really actually view other advertising websites as competition. I see the industry, when it comes to an advertising website, that we're not competing with one another, we're actually boosting one another up. Because I have seen a lot of people advertising various different websites on AHP Profits. So that's actually helping boost our revenue. And I'm seeing on those other websites people advertising AHP Profits as well. So that's pretty much the way that I look at it. I know that there's a number of admins that I've spoken with in the past who have felt that we have been in competition with one another, but then there was one competitor who actually recognized that we're not, and he said, you know what, Charles, hats off to you. Your services are actually providing me a 15% sign-up rate. When I post a banner ad on your website, I'm getting 15% of my clicks signing up for my services. And that's where he's able to recognize, look, we're not in competition with one another. We actually can use one another to build up our own businesses and help our members use those services to actually build their businesses as well. So if you go to adhipprofits.org, what you'll notice is we actually have a list of other advertising resources that you can use to get more referrals to AHP Profits. I don't see that we're in competition with any of them, but we're all part of the industry helping each other build up the income that they want. So the next question is, well, hello, Charles. How are you? I'm doing well. And while I'm finding some problem to earn money on the website, and I did use website to get traffic, and I use website like Easy Hits for You and Simple Refs and NeoBucks advertising services, and you'll be surprised that I never get no clicks on Easy Hits for You and other websites too, no referrals also. Right now I don't know what to do to make my income more better right now like how it is. What I would definitely recommend there, Robert, is to set up a branded website. I mean, if you're promoting just a company replicated website or just referral links, that's really a difficult way to go. But if you set up like a blog or something that helps you stand out as somebody who is one having knowledge, recommending something, people can see you and start to say, hey, look, this is someone who I've seen recommending a number of different things online. I'm going to check this out. And it takes about 7 to 14 times for people to see something. So if you're promoting just a company replicated website, you might be promoting that 7 or 14th time for somebody. And that is rare. What you want to do is stand out so when people want to find what you're promoting, they'll Google you or search for you and contact you to find out what it is that you're involved in. The next question is this being recorded? Yes, it is. And it should be available probably within the next few hours when you log into the members area. Thank you, Paul, for saying very inspiring and encouraging. So the next question is, so Charles, I have an advice for you. Why don't you make an option for members to rent referrals from AHP Profits so we could make more money? Well, in that situation, renting referrals, you have to understand where are those referrals coming from. I mean, if you really want to make more money, what you'll really want to do is get out there and refer people. I mean, people who I referred to AHP Profits are signing up under me. And so if I rented those people out, then my income is going to other people. And so it wouldn't be very cost effective for either member nor me to rent those out to anybody. And the thing that happens with rental referrals, just so that you know, people generally expect something huge from site provided referrals. Like if they don't have a certain amount of commissions, then they'll say, well, this referral was a rip-off, and then they'll complain to the website, this referral never purchased anything, or only purchased a few dollars worth of service, or something like that. But if you're in charge of your own referrals, then you're in charge of the results, so to speak, rather than placing any blame on the website or on myself or on my staff or anybody else, how well those referrals, how well they work out for you. Looks like the last question here is, hi, why do we have to click so many ads? I have more than 2 accounts I click for, I can't keep up. Derek, I appreciate where you're coming from on this. You know, just like what one of these members was mentioning in their question earlier, is they use Easy Hits for You. Easy Hits for You is a traffic exchange that most people click 25 ads or more, and the countdown timer on that website is 20 seconds. So, I mean, the whole purpose of AHP Profits is really to help generate traffic for people's website. I mean, if you go to the How It Works page, or actually the home page, it's talking about how this is a powerful traffic exchange of quality proven buyers. Every member on AHP Profits is someone who's purchased service. So I recognize that you've said that you've set up multiple accounts, but it really wasn't designed to have people to have multiple accounts. So I'm really sorry that you're having to click so many ads, but it's that way to help deliver traffic to people's websites. To me, 25 ads isn't really a big amount of time. I think there's been a number of people in the forum who have seen some complaints about that, said, hey, look, 25 ads is nothing. They're getting them done in a fraction of their day, like 5 minutes in a day. I mean, I don't know how many people are really taking that much time, but if it's taking a lot of time, like more than 10 minutes to click 25 ads on a particular account, then you might try out a different browser just to see if that works a little bit better for you. The next question says, Hi, Charles. Thanks for your time. I have a quick question. If I add up a website to AdHit profits, thereby advertising it, how much do I earn per click? Clicking 25 ads, exactly how much? When it comes to clicking, what you do is you will receive traffic to your website. How much that is in a day will vary. How much revenue you receive in sharing will vary. So there's not really a how much money you can make, except for if you really decide to focus on getting referral commissions. And then you can kind of create your own income based upon your own level of dedication into this. And there's definitely been a number of people who have received over $20,000 in commissions in the last 6 or 7 months. So I know that it's possible. There's just a number of people who don't think that it's possible for them, but I can tell you that's how I believed it when I first came online in 2008. I didn't think I could ever make more than $1 online. My first year, I think I made something like $17 in commissions, but after I set up a branded website, that's when I started making a couple $1,000s in a week. Back in 2010, December of 2010, that was when I really hit where I was like, wow, why wasn't I doing this all along? Why wasn't I creating my own content? Why wasn't I setting up a list? Why wasn't I following up with my list and reminding them of the benefits they wanted to take advantage of? Because people really need to see what's in it for them, and it takes some time, it takes some follow-up. But once when you do that, you start to see, wow, I can really do this. It's easy. It's easier than it is struggling and promoting just a company replicated website, and it's easier than you think by not referring. By starting to refer, it actually is a lot easier than you think, but it just takes a little bit of time to set up a website, to create a brand. But once when you get that locked into place, it all just starts to flow, and it's really quite amazing. Looks like that was the last question. I want to thank you very much, everyone, for being on this call. Later on, it looks like we're going to have this recorded, so if you're listening to this recording, I want to thank you again for being part of this. It looks like we just got one more question at the very last moment here. It says, Charles, thank you for a chance to answer questions. I have two. First, when we originally signed up back in spring, we were told that each ad pack would share equally in the revenues, and that those who clicked our ads share 100% of the revenues for the day. We don't hear that anymore, just that we share equally in revenue. Well, it's the exact same setup right now as it was back then. We did have queues set up, which helped more people receive more of the revenues, but we've now removed the queues completely, so everyone is able to receive an equal amount of the revenues, whatever those are, as you continue to click and share. And so, yes, 100% of the revenues every single day are being dispersed to all of the members. So that's one of the great things about this service and about this system. The next question that you have is, can you reassure us that it's still 100% of the revenues? Absolutely. How much of the daily are kept to the admin cost before the rest is shared? Also, secondly, I want your reassurance that we will get all of the advertising that we have purchased in time. I have many ad packs, and they're moving so slowly. That's the main reason why we set up the 25 ads clicks, is to help increase the speed there, so that you can receive more visitors to your website. If you stay active, see, the thing is with those credits, you're only going to be receiving visitors to your website as long as you're qualified by clicking your ads daily. So if you're clicking, you're going to receive your share in revenues and your share in whatever visitors you're going to get to your ad credits. And you can also use those ad credits, if they're not being used up fast enough, and convert them to the banner advertising. That's really been something that a lot of people are excited about, because they can start to use those credits that you're kind of worried about whether you're able to use, because you've got a lot of these ad packs, you're saying. So you can definitely convert those over and start moving those over, so you can start to see more movement there. The next question is, a lot of people complain about their shares being inactive. How sure are we that all shares are active? You can look on your dashboard. It says how many active shares you have. There are none in queues. Everyone is active as long as you've clicked within the last 24 hours. Why I can't get to transfer credits to my other banners? If you've already applied all credits to one particular banner, there's not a way to reverse or transfer credits at this time to another banner. But if you have a lot of credits on a particular listing, You can manage the credits, and you can see that manage button on the advertisement screen when you go into edit, and all you have to do is unassign those credits, and then when they're unassigned, they're used as a method of payment for banner advertisement. So there's some real great benefits and value that have been built in to help you use your credits and to take advantage of the advertising services. Looks like that is the end of all of the questions that we have tonight. Again, I want to thank you all for being on this webinar and being part of AHP Profits. Let's spread the word about the value and benefits of AHP Profits so we can be just like this website, who was once unknown, unseen, unrecognized for the value and the benefits of the services, and we can shoot back up there and get everybody boosting their revenue shares again and help everybody take advantage of the services as well. Thanks again for being on the call. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, or evening.